Parashat Vayigash. Parasha starts with a very low point, maybe one of the lowest point that Bnei Yaakov can get. Probably you can't get any lower than that. Really at the bottom, they were over there. Binyamin is being blamed for stealing the Grail, the Holy Grail, from the second to the king of Egypt. The suggestion of Yehuda to become enslaved to, well, we know it's Yosef, but to the Egyptian throne, and the slavery, so-called, of Binyamin has been rejected. The brothers do not know that the deputy power over there is Yosef. It seems like, at least on paper, that Yosef is trying to divide the family. He will be on one side together with Binyamin, and then the rest, everybody else. And then it seems like a very, very thick situation to be in. On that situation, all of a sudden comes Yehuda, and he's presenting a certain state, and let's see exactly what he did and if he could have done anything different. Of course, along the line, we'll try to learn something to reflect about our own lives and the way we interact with situations of similar nature. And so the pasuk tells us, Vayigash elav Yehuda, and Yehuda approached him, Vayomer, and he said to him, Bi Adoni. Talk to me. Bi Adoni. Don't talk to them. Yedaber na avdecha davar beoznei Adoni, ve'al yecha rabcha be'avdecha ki kamocha keparo. He speaks to him very harshly. And Vayigash, it means he got up and he approached by himself. Yehuda did not have to do that. He didn't have to approach. He could have refrained from contact with the person of power, which seems like a very wicked and arbitrary person. I mean, it's really impulsive. I mean, look, what he's doing is very weird. That will be Yosef, for that matter. And he chooses to speak. And not only to speak from a safe distance, but he gets up, and you have to understand what it means. Imagine you are standing, let's say, in front of the president, and the president is talking to you, and let's say the president is there, and all of a sudden you get up and you start walking towards the president. You should have seen, you could imagine what will be the reaction of the Secret Service people to such a thing. They would not let you come so close. And Yehuda is doing that. He gets up and he gets into his face. You have to understand who this man is. And he's coming in, and he's coming to the source of power, which actually can also harm him and his brothers. Maybe he put his brothers in harm's way and he shouldn't have done it. And he trying to initiate contact. And you should know about initiation of contact in military or strategic studies. And that's, by the way, was for many years the approach of the Israeli army. However, today with media all over, we got to a situation like we had a few days ago when a Arab girl comes in and she slaps the Israeli soldier and he just stands and does nothing. After she slapped him, he had any right in the world to basically show her the other side of his gun, right over her forehead. But I guess we have a new situation nowadays. So when you are in a combat situation, you don't run away from contact with the enemy. You're trying to initiate it. In other words, you try to find the enemy before he finds you. Sometimes in battle time, in war situation, you're trying to be active, not reactive. Because reactive means you have to take cover. The guy's shooting at you. You have to initiate contact. That's what it is. If you're an elite soldier, you initiate contact. You don't run away from it. You don't hide in the corner and say, oh, you know. So he does that. And you could learn from the unique way of his response if we're going to compare that situation to another interaction situation which is quite surprising. It talks about no other than Moses. ומשה היה רואה את צאן יתרו חותנו כהן מדיין. And Moshe was the shepherd for his father-in-law. The father-in-law always there, right? He was the shepherd for his father-in-law with the priest of Midian. וינהג את הצאן אחר המדבר, and he was hanging around the sheep when they were going to the desert. ויבוא אל האלוהים חורבה, and he came to God's mountain in Horeb. ויראה מלאך השם אליו בליבת האש מתוך הסנה, and the angel of God, or whatever it is, was shown to him from a burning bush. וירא והנה הסנה בוער ואין הסנה אוכל, and the bush is burning, and of course it's not being consumed, the famous story there. ויאמר משה אסור נא ויראה את המראה הגדול הזה. Let me approach, let me come close and see this awesome thing. This is ridiculous, let me check it out. מדוע לא יבער הסנה? Why is it not consuming? וירא השם כי שר לראות, and Hashem, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, God saw him that he's trying to come close to see what it is. ויקרא אליו אלוהים מתוך הסנה, and God called him from the burning bush. Only when Moshe approached that, only then God spoke to him. And ויקרא אליו אלוהים מתוך הסנה ויאמר Moshe, Moshe! ויאמר הנני, and he said, here I am. ויאמר אל תקרב הלום, don't come near, של נעליך מעל רגליך. Take off your shoes, boy. כי המקום אשר אתה עומד עליו, because the place in which you are standing upon, אדמת קודש, is a holy land. ויאמר אנוכי אלוהי אביך, אלוהי אברהם, אלוהי יצחק ואלוהי יעקב. I am the God of your father, the God of Abraham, the God of Yitzchak, and the God of Yaakov. And then, ויסתר משה פניו כי ירא מלהביט אל האלוקים. That's in Shmot, in Exodus 3 verses 1 to 6. And then he hid himself as soon as God spoke to him. He hid himself from God because he was afraid to contemplate or to look upon God. This is a very interesting section of the Torah that we never bother to look because we look always at the outside wrapping stories and we actually miss a tremendous lesson to learn for our lives from that story. Moshe sees a very strange sight. However, he has two choices, two ways to make a decision. He could retrieve and not to see this weird sight. That might be even dangerous. Well, I'm not getting near. That looks dangerous. That's spooky. I'm not getting near there. However, he chooses to get near it. That choice that he made, HaKadosh Baruch Hu likes it. He likes that choice. He's coming to look. I like that. He liked it so much that seems to be the reason in which HaKadosh Baruch Hu actually chose to speak to him only because he came closer. Abotai, you need to think about that. Perhaps you like that, it's kind of Hasidic word there. And, however, as it says, וירא השם כי שר לראות, ויקרא אליו מתוך הסנה. He saw, HaKadosh Baruch Hu saw that he's approaching, and then HaKadosh Baruch Hu started talking to him, but the reason he spoke to him is because he came closer. However, on the other side, after HaKadosh Baruch Hu recognizes himself as he's the one behind that awful sign, this awesome sight, Moshe responds in a reverse fashion of being very afraid, and he removes himself. Vayaster Moshe panav, and he covers himself he did not want to look upon God. According to one opinions of Chachamim, that reaction of Moshe to take the distance, to stay away from God, later on causes or attracts some criticism from HaKadosh Baruch Hu to Moshe himself. And where is that? If you look at Shmot, Lamed Gimel, Exodus 33, it says, Vayomer, and he said to him, Lo tuchal lirot et panai, you're not going to be able to see my face. It says, Tana mishmei de Rabbi Yoshua ben Korcha. It was said from the words of Rabbi Yoshua ben Korcha. Kach amar lo HaKadosh Baruch Hu leMoshe. That's what HaKadosh Baruch Hu told Moshe. Kesheratzita lo ratzita. When I wanted to show you my face to you, you didn't want to see it. עכשיו שאתה רוצה, now that you want, I don't want. On that alone, we could write books about what we call missed opportunities. You think about it next time when you come late. Whether to Shir or to Minyan. Because when we learn there's Shekhinah here, and when you come in to pray to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, He's there listening to you. Where have you been? Where have you been? Now you're going to call upon God. Hey, I'm busy to you. I'm not at the back of the line. Boy. Sonny. That is, by the way, in the Gemara, in Masechet Brachot, in Daf Zayin Amud Aleph, if you want to look at it further, I'm sure you're going to find many commentators on that. I would encourage you to look at the Maharsha and the Benayahu and all the other wonderful things in the En Yaakov, and you can learn a lot about that. There will be windows of opportunities for you to reach tremendous height. Hey, you don't want to do it, the window is closed. It's gone, and probably gone forever. Ksheratziti lo ratzita, when I wanted and you did not want, that refers to from Moshe hiding his face from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. However, if he was not acting in such a way, it seems like I would reveal myself to you as well now. You would see my face. And why? Because HaKadosh Baruch Hu seems like He likes those who come, who reach His closeness, those who step forward to seek His presence. He likes that. So He reveals to you many things when you seek His closeness. However, when you're in your blanket under the cover, refusing to get up because it's not for you, you place yourself at the back of the list. HaKadosh Baruch Hu does not like those who refrain from meeting Him, those who hide their face from Him. On that, the courage in which Yehuda brings, when he is not afraid, when he gets up, and he does what he knows is right to do, to the second of the king, to the deputy Paro, that's a remarkable thing. And the Midrash knows that, the Midrash feels that, and to the revealing text of what he says to the Pharaoh are not really as a weakling in front of the strong person. Yes, it is repeated, like, 14 times the word Eved in different ways when he refers to Yehuda and so on and so forth. You might say, oh no, he's actually asking for mercy, but depends, of course, where you put your punctuation. Vayigash elav Yehuda vayomer bi Adoni! Exclamation mark. That sets the tone for the rest of it. However, Chazal sees in the hidden text, of course, that's where you put the punctuation, tremendous words of him rebuking that actually put the fear in the heart of Yosef, because he knows what his brother is capable of doing. The way he said that made Yosef sweat. And it says, "Kevan שראה יוסף סימנים של יהודה שהוא כועס בהן." When Yosef saw the signs or the build-up anger in Yehuda, מיד נזדעזע ונבהל. He became very feared. By the way, that's in Bereshit Rabbah Tzadik Gimel. Wonderful thing. I got this straight from Wikipedia. This, if you want the text, wiki text, whatever it is, I hold Midrash Rabbah. I have it at home. I couldn't reach the basement. It's a big mess there, so I went online. And it's quoting. It's beautiful stuff you can get today on the internet. And he says, Amar, oh my goodness, this guy is going to kill me. What simanim ayubo? What kind of what did he see? So Bet Shilo said, "Shtei enav zal go down." He's like in James Bond, he start tearing blood. His anger. His anger. Yesh omrim chamisha levushim haya lavush. Without getting into this now, there was 5 different garments that he used to wear. Venima, there is a thread. A white thread on his heart. וכיוון שכעס היה קורע את כולה. He ripped his clothes in one shot. Yehuda of the Midrash is a very powerful man. A man that is pain. His pain. That he knows what happened to his brothers and is afraid of what is going to happen to his family. From this point on, the tears, he's able to turn this pain, those tears, into sheer power. He doesn't let it overwhelm it and bring him down. He turns it into a point of power. And from this vacancy inside of him, the pain, the loss of his brother, the pain that he had to live throughout his life, that's where he finds his strength. Where most people would collapse inside, he brings it out. That pain is what allows him or gives him the ability to stand against the evil. And remember, he doesn't know that's Yosef. To him, as a very evil person standing in front of him. And that's not something that you should take lightly. Imagine which one of us, heroes that we are, of course we'll say, "Oh, I will do that." But I want to see any of us standing in front of Gable Simach Shimo B'Shem Zichro Arura Me'urar Hazeh and giving him rebuke like that. I don't think they will make enough diapers to diaper you if you stand in front of Gables. Okay? Look at the power that Yehuda had. And the question in which Chachamim dealt with all the time is quite famous and quite noticeable. And it says, Amar Rabbi Yochanan Mishum Rabbi Yehoshua. First of all, how could he have done this? Was he allowed to do such a thing? Don't forget, we started with saying that he might have put his whole family in danger. So the question that Chachamim ask is the following. Amar Rabbi Yochanan Mishum Rabbi Shimon ben Bar Yochai. Rabbi Yochanan says in the name of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, Mutar ligarot barashayim ba'olam hazeh. You're allowed to stand up for wicked people in this world. Why did it say that? That's because it says in Mishlei, chapter, whatever chapter it is, Mishlei 28, it says, Ozvei Torah yahalelu rasha v'shomrei Torah idgaru bam. Those who live and abandon the ways of Torah will praise the wicked, and those who preserve the Torah allowed to interact and to actually give it, as they say, you give it to him, boy, give it to him, to the wicked people. You're allowed to do that. So that's why he based it on. And it says, V'im lachoshech adam omer, and if to the darkness person would say, V'haktiv, it says in Tehillim Lamed Zayin, it says in Psalms 37, Al titchar b'mereim, al tikaneh be'oseh ovla. Don't start with people who are wicked people and they do the wrong things. Emor lo, mi shelibo nokfo, said to the person, if your heart doesn't allow you to do that. What does it mean his heart doesn't allow you to do that? Not because you are afraid of this person. That's something you need to understand. You are afraid, as Rashi explains, from the averot that you had done, that there are your obstacles in which you're going to fail. Not because he's stronger than you, because you don't have enough zchuyot. And that's something you got to learn. That's something you got to remember. And it says, Ini, is it so? והאמר רב יצחק, and Rav Yitzchak says, אם ראית רשע שהשעה משחקת לו, if you saw a wicked person that everything goes his way, אל תתגרה בו, don't start with him. And it says the Gemara, it says, לא קשיא, it's not a difficult concept. Why? במילים דידה, במילים דשמיא. What does it mean? In matters of this world, of his worlds, don't start with him. However, issues that involve Shamayim, right? Kvod HaTorah, Kvod HaChachamim, and so on and so forth, titgare bo. And then the Gemara says, V'ibay te'ema, there are those who say, Ha ve'ha b'mili b'shmaya. Both of them, here, drink some water. That's what happens when you shave your beard. You lose your power like Shimshon. Why you lose your beard, for crying out loud? It says, Ha ve'ha b'mili d'shmaya. Those two talks about issues of Shamayim, of Kvod Shamayim. V'lo kashya. Ha berasha she'asa'ah meshacheket lo. This is about a wicked man that everything goes his way. Ha berasha she'en hasha'ah meshacheket lo. And maybe this is in a wicked person that you see things don't work his way, so then you can hit him. Gemara continues, it says, Ve'abai te'ema, there are those who say, Ha ve'ha berasha she'asa'ah meshacheket lo ve'lo kashya. Ha betzadik gamur, ha betzadik she'eno gamur. If you are tzaddik gamur, don't be afraid. Go head to head with the whole world. You don't care. However, if you're not such a tzaddik, don't bother, because your averot in your hands will stumble you as well. So you better know how to take the fight. And by the way, that's in Barachot Dav Zayin Amud Bet. Can I taste some of the children? Do you mind? Okay, guys, I gotta make a bracha because this is like driving me crazy. Eat. This is old mezonot, old adama, right? Baruch atah Adonai Cholam, borei pri adama. Amen. Oh my goodness! Oh, this is wonderful. To all the nice maidales who are looking for a nice shidduch, we have here Mr. Ariel. He makes a mean chulet. I'll take notes later. Send us to rabbigaon@gmail.com for references for our chulet maker here. Wonderful guy. Anyway, so beyond these tests of putting these two different voices here, opposites, whether I'm allowed to start with a wicked person or not, in order for not to have a machloket with them, so therefore we have that big dilemma. Should I start initiating contact with the evil force to fight it, or I should prevent initiating any contact with bad forces and create a certain bubble of good that is completely disconnected from the bad? What should I do? And therefore it says, Vayigash elav Yehuda vayomer. And Yehuda approached them and said, Lefi sheYehuda omer shuv et dvarav, because Yehuda says his words, he comes to him. In order for me to say something, I need to come to you. The Sfat Emet says something beautiful about this between gisha and amira, between getting up and initiating contact and just saying something. According to him, the change in Yehuda is not in his words or his arguments or his complaints towards it. And he writes the following. Vayigash elav Yehuda, pirush elav leYosef. He approached Yosef. Gam el atzmuto, also to himself. In other words, to himself. Also, he said it means also Vayigash elav. Who, in other words, the Sfat Emet is asking, who is the elav? Say, and he reached him. Who is the him? So one way is to say he actually went to Yosef. The other one, he actually went to himself. Another one, he actually went elav lakadosh baruch Hu. He went towards HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Let's explain. Vayigash elav el atzmo. Pay attention, it's very important. Vayigash elav el atzmo. It seems like the Sfat Emet, it's saying that we need to reach, and that's why I think we talk about this today. We need to come to ourselves first of all before we open our mouth in order to very clearly assort and figure out internally the meaning of what we are saying. Do we really hold ourselves to the same standards in which we are about to say to others? And all the things that we are saying that are important to us, family values, Torah, Klal Yisrael, all these beautiful things, are we really truthful to them? Or are we just talking? When you say Klal Yisrael, I love Am Yisrael, do you really mean love everybody? Or you just like your people, and then the other ones are not my people, they are the other people. If you're Sephardi, you like Ashkenazim. If you're Ashkenazi, do you like Sephardim? If you're religious, you like the secular. If you're secular, you like how do you go about that? So before you tell me what to do, did you check yourself first of all? You talking to me about family? What have you done to my family? What have you done to your family? So Yehuda went to himself. Are we trying to convince the other in the words that we don't hold ourselves by? Are we trying to convince others with concepts and ideas that we ourselves don't believe in? Are we whole? Are we shalom with the words that we are about to tell the others? Are we 100% with it? I'm 100% okay with that. Only after you looked carefully inside of this to yourselves. Only you, when you checked carefully, only then you might be able to cause a change by others. So, for example, I always say, when you're trying to do kiruv, did you figure out why you're losing so many guys out of it? Out of faith, before you bring others in? What are you bringing in? To lose them out again? This time you lost them out forever. If a person was not religious, you brought him into religion, and then for whatever reason he saw that you were lying to him and left it, he's never coming back again. Did you look at how many kids we lose? Did you look at how many kids? By the way, I'm going to tell you something. Do you know what is one of the biggest problems with people, with kids in our time now? I'm going to tell you that. Do you want to hear that? I'm going to tell you that. Texting on Shabbat. I know that some of you text on Shabbat. I know. You don't have to tell me. I just look at your eyes. Try not to touch your noses, because then I know that micro expressions. So how do you want to convince, for example, me to keep Shabbat if I know that you're texting on Shabbat? I mean, I could tell you're lying. You think the other person cannot tell you're lying? You think the other person doesn't know that you're trying to selling empty things? Well, it's like trying to selling some snake potion in a country fair. No wonder. No wonder we can't influence people. No wonder there's so many secular people. We need to take a very good look at ourselves. Do we really believe it, or are we just saying it? Vayigash elav el Yosef. He went to Yosef. Yehuda understand that those slogans are not just going to help to change the opinion of, let's call him Yosef, to that matter, to convince him. He needs to approach him. In order to try to enter and penetrate the world of the others, you need to also understand their needs. In other words, you need to understand and recognize and penetrate the world of the others and to see where is he coming in order to be able to create a partner for this conversation. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shekol nהיה b'dvaro. That's why HaKadosh Baruch Hu tell Yosef, Bo'el Paro. Bo'el Paro, come inside of him. Think as he is. Think what he's, be Paro. Have this mindset. Only then you can figure out how to come to him, how to convince him to send my people. That's why the West always fails with the Arabs, because they don't understand how they think. That's how you fail with your enemies. You don't understand how they think, how they operate. That's why you can never bridge gaps that you have with people, because you don't understand where they're coming from. You cannot even find the beginning of the thread or to negotiate. That's why we cannot reach out to our secular brothers and sisters, because we don't understand where they're coming from. It is our responsibility, not theirs. They don't know. We know. You have to understand, you have to come to him. Vayigash elav, and he came to him. The third one is to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, to God, which is the last stage. So you have to come first to yourself, then to understand the other person, then you have to stand in front of God, which is the last one, the last of the process that a person has to go through. Internal cleansing, internal assortment. Understanding the others, and then finding the right time and the right words to say. A person needs to understand, and he needs to be aware that human conversation is a tremendous challenge. It's not something that comes easy. It's not easy to make a change and to help others to occur a change in their life, to apply, to implement change in their lives. A lot of it has to do with the amount of information you get. The more information, the more knowledgeable, the easier the change. When you're uninformed, you're ignorant, it's impossible for you to change. So therefore, before any kind of a contact, initiation, even when you give a speech to people, you have to pray to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruch Hu, help me out. I need to reach out to these people. We're creating a discussion here. You need to pray to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, kiss the Parahat. Help me, please, Hashem. You see, Yaakov did the same thing. Yaakov understood that. Yaakov divided his troops, didn't do whatever he needs to do, and then he prayed to God. He said, listen, please help me. You need to ask the bracha from Shamayim. And we live in a time in human history that our human culture allows and encourages freedom of thought, expression, and freedom of thought are noble concepts and leading concepts in today's culture and the world. However, unfortunately, that doesn't always, and most of the time, does not materialize itself into increasing dialogue or mutual dialogue and deep understanding and listening to the other. It seems, unfortunately, that the dialogue became very superficial. Try to speak to somebody and you see how superficial they are. And because they're superficial, it becomes radicalized and many times violent. And it has to do with anything. It has to do with the way you have a dialogue with your family members. It's how the dialogue has with people you come in contact, colleagues, political dialogue, ideological dialogue. Very superficial, very radicalized, and extremely violent. And in us as well. Us among ourselves, as Jews. There's no depth. Because we're ignorant. And of course, in order to do what Yehuda did, you need to understand all this and to create, in a way, the right environment for the words to penetrate into his ear. Yehuda, that in his blessing that he receives, is compared to a lion, is a person who chooses to initiate a contact, to strive for it, for any force that is coming his way. Of course, he's taking a risk. It's clear that there will be time in which you're going to get hit and he's going to get and you pay a price. There are times that just the opposite, a person who is more willing to accommodate, who is more careful, will be able to survive. It's not always power. I mean, look at that. I mean, when we had tremendous power coming our way and we acted with power against it, the power overwhelmed us. Look at the Second Temple. It's like martial art. When you're facing with soft, you'll be hard. When you're facing with hard, you'll be soft. Otherwise, there's always going to be somebody who's going to be harder than you. And that's what the Midrash tells us about Yehuda. When Yosef saw him with all his actions, he came in and he gave a sidekick to some kind of a pillar and he broke it into stones. Yehuda says, "What? Somebody is like me. Who is this guy?" So he came to take his sword out. And his sword is not coming out. Because his sword came out only to wicked. He said, this man might be a tzaddik. Who is this man? You have to read the conditions. You have to be aware of what is going around you. However, there are opposite cases where the daring one is going to save the battle, and the one who is overly cautious would leave it in failure. As you look at history, let's call it Chamberlain versus Churchill. However, there's no one way in which you always have to act. You have to have both options always open for you. The more options you have, the greater chance you have to succeed. However, we could overcome the power, the evil that's coming upon us. There is place for hope. Knowing all these things, especially the 3 stages in which the Sfat Emet had shown us, we could overcome that. That could serve as a beacon of light for us not to get lost, not to lose hope. Even if the waves of life are taking you up and down and threaten to sink your boat, there is hope. But you need to be very careful in how you react and how you act. However, you should not be afraid of anyone or anything. The only thing you should be afraid of is yourself. How truthful you are. How caring you are. And this is how you will be able to overcome a lot of the things that are coming your way. Knowing those things, acting like that, I honestly believe that we could overcome anything that is coming our way. And not only that, we'll be able to bring back and to save many of our brothers and sisters that might be chas v'shalom lost forever. It is our watch. We are the troops. It's our watch. And the time to act is now. As Hillel said, Imen anili mili. I am here for myself. In other words, I gotta help myself. V'im lo achshav ematai. And the time to act is now. However, he knows, I don't have the powers. It all comes from Hashem. You gotta take all this and put it in the perspective of how you stand in front of God. Vayigash elav v'Yehuda vayomer bi Adoni. Don't hide behind anything. You have a problem, fix it. Shabbat shalom.